Hi, welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel, episode 16. I am Roxanne, a knitter and crochet whose favorite ways of crafting and the world of design. The places you can find me and show notes for this episode will all be linked down below. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so this is kind of being filmed spur of the moment. I tried to film this, I've been wanting to film it for the past 3 days. I tried filming it 2 days ago, and then this morning, and I just couldn't do it. So everything's kind of jumbled up together, but we're going with it. And the background's not as pretty as, well, is it ever pretty? I have the yarn usually in the background, but I have the cabinet closed. I thought it would make it easier. I don't know. We'll go with it. So I have mostly finished objects to talk about, not a lot of works in progress, but let's just start. That's the easiest. So the first thing I'll talk about was actually a whip last time, and it is this little Grooming Toy. It's Black Panther. I love it. So this toy is Black Panther from the Marvel movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've made him as an Easter gift, which Easter is actually tomorrow at the time of me filming this. And he's actually an Easter present for one of my siblings. And I love this pattern. This pattern, like I said, will be linked down below. Show notes for this episode will be on my blog. And it's a free pattern on a blog. I believe the blog is called Mina's Crafts or Mina's Making, something like that. And it's this really great crochet amigurumi pattern, and what's so great about it is that it is all done in one piece. So you crochet the arms, and then you crochet the legs, and then you join the legs together to do the body, and then join the arms before you move on to the head. It's so great because I think the hardest part of amigurumi is all the little pieces that you have to sew together. And this toy does have a lot of embroidery, you have to embroider on the bands on the leg, on the foot, and on his face, quite a bit on his body. But the patterns are really great in telling you, okay, stop crocheting and get out your yarn needle. It's so good. So, and here's the back. It got a little bit of color management here. I'm not really good with, I think there's a way in crochet to not get such a stair step here, but I didn't bother trying to figure it out because I just didn't. I'm lazy. But I'm really proud of how he turned out. I was really kind of hesitant to make him because I thought I wouldn't do a good job, but I'm pretty satisfied. So here he is. I haven't yet watched the Black Panther movie. I'm almost on it. I'm slowly working my way through the Marvel movies, but that's him, and he's crocheted out of I love this yarn in just the black colorway, a gray colorway, and I used a 4.5mm hook, I believe. So that's that finished object. My next finished object was also a whip last time, I believe. So it's this pair of socks, and actually I'll take the blocker and put one of them on. Okay, so it's this pair of socks. These socks are knit out of Knit Picks with Lychee in the Goth Kitty colorway. Self-striping yarn, and actually I'm going to put the other one on the blocker too. I forgot what I wanted to say about these. So the pattern I used for this is my own pattern, the Shortcut Heel Sock Recipe, Shortcut Sock Recipe hat. I know my own pattern. That's what I used. Glue the socks together. The Shortcut Heel Sock Recipe sock pattern is my own design, and it is a sock heel. It's a vanilla sock recipe with a heel that requires no short rows. And so this is the heel. I did it. You can do it in stockinette or garter. I did it in stockinette here, and you can kind of see makes this nice heel, this little gusset, and did I weave in my ends? I think I wove in my ends just the other day. I didn't do it tight enough. Here, you can kind of see, I love this heel. It's a heel construction that requires no short rows. And I knit these according to pattern, except in the pattern, this is a new toe I'm trying out. So this is not the toe included in the pattern. I can speak. I'll speak more on this toe later. But what I wanted to say about these socks is I knit these socks with contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs in a Yarn Bee mini that is 25% acrylic, so no, 25% nylon, 75% acrylic is the mini that I used. Just this unnamed mini I had in my stash. And then the body of the socks, all 50 grams of Knit Picks Fleechy. Knit Picks Fleechy is a self-striping yarn, comes in 50 gram skeins. And I did pretty good on my color management. They are perfectly matching right up until, let's see if I can line these up, right till here. So I knit this sock first, and I have a large foot. I do 64 stitches for my circumference. My foot is anywhere between, depending on shoe company, anywhere from a 10.5 to a woman's 11. So I have big feet. So I did this sock first, and then I did this sock, and I got it matching all the way up to this point where I had to like break my yarn apart and do color management, so they're not perfectly matching. It's okay, it doesn't really bother me. I'm happy it's on the foot and not on the cuff. I don't mind if my self-striping socks don't match as long as the stripes themselves are the same width. Like, you can kind of see here, actually on camera it's showing up as like just one big gray stripe, but it's actually two different colors. As long as like I don't start the sock in the middle of a stripe and then start the next sock with a whole stripe, as long as the stripe's the same width, I don't mind. Does that make sense? So I'm pretty happy with how they match. Had I done the legs shorter, like I did a whole color repeat for the legs, I probably could have made them completely matching, but I didn't. And I knit my socks on a US 2.75mm needle. So I think that's all there is to say about this. And the blockers I'm using are Knit Picks medium size blockers, and I really like these blockers because they're nice hard plastic and no jagged edges. Okay, that's all there is about those socks. So I'll save those for later. It's probably best. The next 3 finished objects I have are all, the next 4 finished objects I have are all designs that are upcoming and I've got big plans for. So we'll start with this one first. So I have a recent video on my channel, a Knit Picks unboxing. I was sent yarn from Knit Picks for yarn support for various upcoming designs, and this is one of them. So this is actually a design I actually talked about it in the previous episode. I had crocheted this hat. This is my Junebug hat, Junebug cap that I had designed 2 summers ago. And I had talked about the previous episode how I was going over the pattern, adding more sizes, updating it, and just making it better. It was one of my first, if not my first, crochet pattern. So my pattern writing has evolved a lot, so I've updated it, and some of the yarn Knit Picks sent me was their dishy, so I made another sample, and I love it so much. This is the final version of the hat. I just did a few things in the pattern I wanted to tweak that I didn't do in this sample, and I'm so happy with this hat. This is the largest size because I have a lot of hair, and I love these hats. They're perfect to just tuck all your hair up under in the heat of summer, because that's what I do. So this was crocheted on a 5mm hook, a H, I believe. And the yarn is Knit Picks Stitchy in the, I think just gray. I think. I don't remember. I'd have to look. But that's this hat. It's not quite ready for release yet. I do kind of want to release it closer to June, if not June. But I probably won't. The pattern's almost ready, so I just really have to do a few more things for it. But see, it has this band here and got the cap. I love this hat so much. So that's that finished object. Another finished object that is it's probably not going to see again for a while, though it does kind of tie in with whips. So this, again, more yarn sent from Knit Picks. This hat, so I have a pattern in my Ravelry store called the Garter Scale hat. It is a DK weight hat pattern, and I've decided to do a worsted version. It's kind of going to be a collection if all goes well. So this is the worsted version of the Garter Scale hat. It's this super fun. I love stitch patterns that are just knit purl textures. I love it when it makes a picture with just knit and purl textures. Like, it's almost color work, but it's not. If that makes sense. I just love making a picture with just the knit and the purl stitches, and that's what this design is. So it's these beautiful like diamonds, and I love it so much. And I did some twisted rib for the brim, and then I love looking at how it decreases. You can see I love crown decreases. I love it when they look so pretty. So the yarn I used for this is Knit Picks 12, which is a 100% superwash merino wool base. It's worsted weight, and this is the color Rose Water Heather. And I just love this shade of pink. It's kind of getting a little blown up for the camera, but you can, there it is. It's so pretty. It's like my favorite shade of pink. So this pattern you won't see for a while, but you'll see it eventually. And like I said, it kind of ties into whips because I'm working on more for it. But that's this finished object. Okay. One more finished object. Well, two more finished objects, but one more. It's kind of hard because these are all like designs that are at some point going to be released, obviously. But just, you know, timing and scheduling and little tweaks to patterns and things like that. But this shawl is a part of a project that I'm working on. You'll probably see it sooner rather than later, but here's the shawl. I love it so much. So I've kind of made a goal this year to expand my horizons when it comes to crochet. I love crochet. I've crocheted almost as long as I've been knitting, but when it comes to new techniques in crochet and new stitch patterns, I kind of don't dive in as much as I do with new knitting stitch patterns. So I've kind of like made more of an effort this year to really like open up my crochet stitch dictionaries and try new things. And this shawl has some not really new, nothing hard, stuff I knew, but just finally using it. Using new stitch patterns, who would have thought? So this is the shawl. I already have a name picked up, I'm not going to share it yet. So it is a top-down triangle. It's got this mesh stitch and this super fun, this is like one of my new favorite stitches. It's like this cluster stitch. Am I showing you the wrong side? I'm showing you the wrong side. Oh, super fun. Show you this way. Maybe it's easier to see on the camera. But it's super fun. I love it. And then the rest of the shawl is half double crochet, which is my favorite stitch. So the yarn I made this out of is again Knit Picks Knit Picks Brava in the, what was this color? I want to say plum or purple something. I don't remember. It'll be in show notes. This color I was obsessed with. This is a part of their new speckle base for their Brava. It is Fairy Tale, I believe. It's so pretty. I love it so much. It's so perfect for these like stripes. So this is a 2 skein project, 2 skeins of 100 grams, and Brava is a worsted weight 100% premium acrylic yarn. So that's all I'll say about this for now. I love it. It's beautiful. This is my first time working with Brava, and I'm really surprised at how much fun it was to work with. Like, the color is so beautiful, the yarn itself is really good quality. Yeah, that's that. Okay, so I have one more finished object, and I'm super excited to share it with you. By the time you're seeing this, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have already seen pictures of me posting about these as a whip. But I'm going to put them on the blockers for you. So this year, part of my designing this year has been going back over some of my old patterns, and just I've been designing and publishing my patterns for over 2 years now. And so I've kind of gone through my catalog and just updated my patterns, specifically my sock patterns I've been focusing on first. Now that I've really like official my shortcut heel, I've been wanting to go through my sock patterns and put those in as like my heel, because it is my heel. It's so good. It's the heel I've been looking for in all my years of sock knitting. So I've been doing that and just updating my patterns, my sock patterns. I want to have more sizes in them. I want them to come with charts and written instructions. So that is what I've been doing. And so this month, the month of March, but I'm going to be releasing them in April, I'm going to be re-releasing my Bramble Socks. Here they are, and they are just, they're so pretty. Okay. So here they are, all their glory. You can see you got the garter, you got this lovely sharp slip stitch detail, and such fun texture section. So let me take one off the blocker to really show you the stitch pattern, because I'm obsessed with it. I knit these socks so fast, like so fast. They flew off the needles. This texture is just so much fun to do. So here is a close-up if the lighting will cooperate. It's this stitch pattern that is really easy, but you actually knit into the fabric. Like, it's so fun. So the Bramble Socks are going to be released on the 30th of April, the end of this month. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll hear more details about the re-release and just a lot of fun stuff. I am on Instagram as FreeFormKnits, so you should definitely follow me over there if you want to hear more about these. I'm also excited about these. I talked about the toe I used in my Fleechy socks. This toe. This is a new toe. My first version of the Bramble Socks, I had a star toe, and the star toe was what I was using for a long time. But I just found that the star toe that I was using, it had like extra steps in it, and these that I just didn't seem necessary. So I kind of took what I liked from the star toe and kind of essentially just made my own toe decreases. So I'm calling this toe the hat trick toe, because it's kind of like the decreases on a hat. And I love it. If you can see, it just makes this nice rounded toe, and I think the toe decreases look so pretty. So yeah, these are the Bramble Socks, and they are knit out of, again, Knit Picks, their Stroll tonal line in the Poppy Field tonal colorway. And I love Stroll tonal. I've knit with Stroll tonal quite a few times in the past. It's just a very standard sock base, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. It feels so nice, and I just love a good sock that you can just use one color, like when you're not switching for heels, toes, and cuffs. Just solid, and it's so pretty. Just look at that. It's so pretty. So that's that. And like I said, there'll be a lot of things going on my Instagram about these. So you should definitely follow over there, especially since I will need testers for this pattern. So if you are interested in testing this pattern, definitely follow me on Instagram. Okay, that is all my finished objects. So I have actually, really, I only have 2 whips. I have a third whip that, let's just start with that. Let's get this out of the way, because had I podcasted this morning, you would have seen this whip as something else. Had I podcasted this afternoon, you would have seen this whip as something else other than it was this morning. And now it is in a new stage, and I'm actually in the middle of a row, so let's just get to the end of this so it doesn't look quite so pathetic. So this is the part of the garter scale collection that I want to release later this year. The same yarn, Knit Picks 12 in the Rosewater Heather colorway. So originally I was planning a cowl. The reason I didn't do a cowl was because, well, first off, I cast it on for the cowl and I made it too small. And as I was debating on ripping it out, I thought, I want gloves. I want fingerless mitts. I think fingerless mitts with this stitch pattern will be so pretty. So I ripped it out, cast it on again, and because of the multiple stitches you need for this stitch pattern, I thought I would just do one diamond, like in the center, for both the front and the palm of the glove. And so I tried that. I didn't like it, so I ripped it out again. And now we are back at square one. So it's just this itty bitty bit of twisted rib. I have 2 rows. I'm knitting magic loop on a 32-inch cord, and that's all there is to say about it. So I think I know what I'm doing with it now. I think. You might not see this again for various reasons. Whether or not it's not existent anymore, or just because, I don't know. And this is just in a project bag I made years and years ago now. So that's that. That's the whip. That it counts as a whip. What does it? So my 2 other whips. First, a sock, as always, in this little bag here. So again, this yarn I had in my stash for a long time. This is Knit Picks Hawthorne. I've long lost the ball band, so I couldn't tell you what colorway, but Hawthorne is, I believe, an 80-20 base, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, I think. But this is Hawthorne, and I've just started a vanilla sock. It was, for the longest time, only halfway down the leg. I just started working on it. This is again my shortcut heel sock recipe, and this is the garter stitch heel, if I can see what I'm doing. I cannot see what I'm doing, so can you see that? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. And these are my Chalu needles. I knit my socks magic loop on a 40-inch cord, 2.75 US 2 millimeter needles. So Chagu Red Lace, best sock needles, I think, at least for me. and they just have a really smooth join. So that's all there is to say about this project. And then my last work in progress, which has not seen any work for over a week, but I was working very hard on it first. So it's in this bag that I sewed a long time ago. A pretty butterfly in blue fabric. The yarn I'm using for this project is Yarntopia in the Spice colorway. This is just this is just a 100% acrylic yarn, but it feels very, I don't know how to describe it. It's like 100% acrylic, but they must do something to it to make it feel very smooth. So this is my crochet top, and I actually, that's the new piece. Excuse me, I'm very stuffy. It's officially spring. So of course allergies, but I finished the front. So this is the front of my crochet top. I'm crocheting a top with the V-stitch, which is one of my favorite crochet stitches. I love this stitch. And the bottom is just half double crochet because I was going to do something fancy and then came to my senses. Didn't come to my senses. The yarn I used for this trim is Lion Brand Trubu, which is a 100% rayon from bamboo yarn. It's just the white colorway, and it's very soft yarn, but it's very splitty, so it's very hard to crochet. And I'm using a 4mm hook for this project. So this is the front, and it's going to be like a crop top because I'm lazy and decided it was long enough. So I've done a little bit more rows for the shoulders and neckline. And then that's the first piece. And the second piece is, I think, halfway done. I haven't worked on it in a while, and I knew I needed to grab another skein. I have more yarn. So, yeah. That is that project. Like I said, I have not worked on it in quite some time, because I did all those finished objects. I started and finished all those, so yeah, what can you do? It'll get done eventually. I'm usually not someone who has whips laying around. I'll either finish it soon or rip it out, but that's obviously going to get finished soon. It reaches a point where the project, it's like, why would I rip it out? It's almost done. So I'm just gonna put that yarn label away. Okay. So that is everything. So yeah, that is, words. That is everything. Thank you so much for joining me. Like, subscribe, whatever. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting.